On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Kind of somewhat of a slow news day. I'm going to take it and enjoy it for the moment. I mean, obviously a lot's going on, a lot's ramping up. Got some stuff to talk about, certainly talking about yesterday and what happened in D.C. Got some information. But that being said, I think we're ramping up to a big week, and no question about it. We've been told that the information for the Arizona audit's coming out this coming Friday at 1 p.m. or something like that. So pretty sure this week's going to get exciting. Hearing about investigations that are supposed to start, wondering if that's part of this, thinking personally they're probably going to chuck Millie under the bus. I think that might maybe be one of their noisemakers during this week. Curious to see what else they come up with, or if the blackout again, it's getting very interesting very quickly, and obviously the southern border is a mess right now. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that Biden does not care about this country. We've got an interesting poll that kind of shows where Latin Americans are chiming in on this, and it's not looking good for Biden either. You see, things are falling apart very quickly, and the timing of all of these, death by 1,000 cuts, the fact that all of us are surrounding this information and just information and facts and data, right? And they're just like, no, listen to me, believe me, and we're like, information, data, photographs, evidence, and it's destroying their narrative. So, again, seeing a mess on the border. So one thing that Governor Abbott has done is deployed the DPS troopers, National Guard, and they've essentially built a barricade. And kind of seeing this picture here, this is a technical term, but pardon me for using it, a crap ton of vehicles that are basically disparaging people from or keeping people from wanting to cross. Essentially, this is a human barrier that's been created. Now, Greg Abbott's already signed the money for the border. The $2 billion has already been appropriated, I guess. So everything is on the move to build this border and get things under control. So Trump's border wall is being completed going around Biden, once again demonstrating the power of we, the people. Again, people had to see this. I know everyone's tired of hearing that, but that's the reality of it. People needed to see this. There is vast swaths of the population that had to wake up to the smell of the coffee that we're currently drinking. Now, we're finding a lot of the people that are coming across, a huge number of Haitians, apparently. And again, I don't know if it's probably true. There's a lot of crap going on over there, but I almost wondered if it was to maybe explain the extra darkness of some of the populations coming across. I just don't trust anything, and I keep wondering, because everything's about slant. Everything's about kind of putting a spin on something. And by the way, it's done on the other side of the spectrum, too. Really, weeding between all the BS out there is a challenge in and of itself. But we are hearing large numbers of people from Haiti and any number of other countries just streaming across the border. We've heard about sickness. We've got people coming across that have, measles? I mean, come on now. Like, just crazy stuff's happening right now, and people are pissed. They're seeing it, right? Like, you must get a vaccine. But no, all those people streaming across, the hundreds of thousands of people, by the way, they're, I think, 1.2 million so far, expecting to hit 2 million by the end of the year. 2 million in a population of, 330 million-ish? 2 million's a significant number of people, right? Almost 1%, right? So that's a lot of people to just flood the border. Not to mention we've seen the waste, the trash, the camps. So none of this is good. And even if you were going to try to absorb gobs of people, you'd want to do it smarter than this. You wouldn't want to do things the Joe Biden way, right? Everything that Joe Biden touched falls apart. The polls are definitely showing. It seems like there's a new poll out every day now. Devastating results with a majority of Hispanic voters in Texas disapprove of Biden. Huge majority. Here is disapprove and strongly disapprove down here, these bottom two. If we add up 20 and 34%, that's 54% of Latinos strongly disapprove or disapprove, right? That's pretty strong. And neither, and 11%. So there's this group of people that don't care. And 35% that are positive. So we got 54 against, 35 that are positive. That's a pretty significant shifting. And a lot of people that have come here legally, like girlfriend included, she hates the way this is. This is not fair. She had to wait in line. She had to take all these classes. She hates reading. And she had to study all this crap. So, yeah, not cool, not fair. And Biden's numbers are sucking. They're just dropping through the floor. Now, yesterday, interesting one, wasn't a whole hell of a lot of people there, which was cool. And it seemed like there was way more media, way more cops than there were actually anybody else. And it wasn't really a protest as much as sort of a display, so it was kind of cool. So nothing too terribly bad happened, though we got an interesting little video footage of this guy who had a gun. Ooh, yeah, the one guy that got caught with a gun. Only problem was he was actually an agent. And he shows his cred. You can hear him talking about it. Of course, we're going to play that. Wouldn't want to miss out on this. I think it's pretty close to around here, but we'll pay attention. I'll try to go a little bigger on it, and I'll try to enhance the volume, just saying in advance. Do my best to make this as loud as you can, because this is not super loud, but you can hear the discussion, and then maybe I'll pause and roll back a little. So check it out.
Push him back. Back up. All right, I'm going to get the creds.
I'm going to get the creds. The credits, your credentials.
Get back there.
What happened?
Back up, please. Cruiser 100. We have the individual stop.
You guys just give us a little space, all right?
Give them a little bit of space.
Ask the waiter what?
Are you on the cover? Are you part of the event?
I'm just here.
Are you undercover or are you part of the event? And he's like, I'm just here. Huh. Are you undercover or part of the event? I'm just here. Check it out.
Are you on the cover? Are you part of the event?
I'm just here.
Where'd you live?
Help the guys out. It's on the
On the cover? Are you part of the event?
I'm just here.
Where'd you live?
Help the guys out. It's on
Interesting. Interesting. One of the only people there that has a gun is actually an agent, not on any sort of official capacity, happens to be there. Now, supposedly they ushered him out of there rather than just being like, all right, well, keep your gun and just go walking around. I mean, that kind of sets a weird precedent, not to mention, what if somebody, tackled him, took his gun, and right? Like, they couldn't go through a proper background check if they did that. So, again, interesting, right? No one really showed up, so it really screwed up the deep state's plans on this one. But they did have a pretty cool little speech. I wanted to play this. I thought this guy did a really good job. It's 3 minutes long, but it was really the essence of why they're there, what's going on, and I thought it was a pretty good little speechy poo. Let's check it out.
We're all here for the same reason, because we know our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans, regardless of what walk of life they're from, what political party they're from, have the God-given right to due process. That's in our Constitution. Those rights were given by God, not by man. Man cannot take them away. But we have to fight for them like we're doing right now. We're peacefully out here fighting, making our voices heard. I'm an honor to be a small part of it. I'm out here because, like Matt said in his great introduction, I had the opportunity and the privilege to serve this country for a little bit over 20 years. And when I was serving this country, the thing that I had in common with those I went to war with was that we are all Americans. Our political leaders, they didn't think twice about sending us off on useless, endless wars that were of no gain. But all of us joined, all of us fought, many of us died, many of us still carry the scars from war for one reason. We believe in this country, we believe in that flag, we believe in everything that it stands for. And when there is an injustice done to any of our brothers and sisters, our fellow citizens, when their constitutional rights are taken, if we do not speak out against that, we are guilty of standing by and watching those rights erased.
Hang on a second. Is this a zipper tie? What the hell is this? What is this little dingly-dingly thingy here? Zipper?
Road. Make no mistake, what governments do overseas, they will do here, and they've already started. It's banana republic stuff when political prisoners are arrested and denied due process. That happens overseas all the time. Unfortunately, we conducted operations like that when I was in Iraq serving overseas, and it did nothing but further radicalize people. It is very dangerous. Our founders gave us protections in our Constitution to make sure that those things did not happen here in America. But that is running off the rails right now because too many Americans just think that it's not their business. I'm not part of that political party, so I'll let those guys get detained and have their due process denied. That's not the way this works. This is a slippery slope, and we are on it right now. And if we don't start fighting back and pushing back, Call your elected officials, call your representatives. Show up at every single rally that Look Ahead America is having for these political prisoners. Be their voice, because it's not even just about them. It's about our forefathers who gave us these rights, who fought the revolution. It's about every single veteran who's ever deployed overseas, who's ever been killed. It's for everyone in Arlington National Cemetery. Amen. And it's for all these law enforcement officers too. The law enforcement officers are on the front lines every single day defending our rights. They're defending our rights, putting their lives on the line day in, day out. I'm extremely grateful for all of them that are here today. I'm extremely grateful for all of them that were present on January 6th. They are not our enemies. Our enemies are those that will deny people of their constitutional rights and then take a narrative that labels all of us as terrorists or insurrectionists for just questioning things. It's our God-given right and duty as American to actually question things, to question the narrative. That's our job. I can't thank all of you enough for being out here. Keep the shoulder to the wheel. We are the majority of the country. Keep speaking out. We will take this country back. God bless America. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, your zipper's down. No, not that one down there. Your tie. What the hell? Sorry, it distracted me. I apologize. I know, it probably ruined it for everybody. They're like, I couldn't not look at the stupid zipper. I know I couldn't either. He was saying a bunch of really good stuff, though. Seriously, might have to watch it again. But it was, they're fighting for, us having rights. I've said it before, and I think it's evidence that this is a hostile takeover. This is Chinese control over Washington, D.C. Otherwise, they'd have a constitution. They'd have rights, wouldn't they? Interesting that they don't. Or they're somehow, they're holding them as prisoners of war, I guess. And it's probably something along combatants or whatever it is. Whatever their little phrase is they like to use where you're like, you get no rights anymore. It's like, well, you're not in Guantanamo yet. We'll see. So Trump, of course, we got a bone-chilling warning. We're not going to have a country left in 3 years. And this is what everyone keeps talking about, like, what about 2024, Trump? What's going to happen then? And they've been asking him this question for weeks and weeks and months and weeks and months, right? It's stupid. Who cares? We got to worry about 2020. If we don't get past that, well, a lot of things don't happen. Arizona information is going to be coming out. Georgia information. Trump even wrote a letter to Raffensperger saying, hey, found these 45,000 votes that don't belong, that failed chain of custody. Boom. Need to be removed. That instantly right there changes the election. You need to do a decertification or whatever legally is available to you. Not to mention, we're probably going to find out the senator down there isn't actually in charge. A whole lot of fraud is going to vitiate a whole lot of stuff here. We're going to have a constitutional crisis, no ifs, ands, or buts. Whether or not we've got those 5, 6, 7 plans that are supposed to kick in, or if devolution is in fact going on, I kind of tend to lean in that direction for sure, or something akin to devolution. Maybe they've got a cooler name for it, like Feathered Falcon or something. I don't friggin' know. They'd come up with much better. So again, people are talking about the serious problem that's going on, and that's Biden. Biden's a mess. Biden's obviously given us over to China. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Found out some new information coming from Arizona. Processed 673,000 voter identities with the Social Security Administration. 58% of them had no match. You see, it's funny how this forensic audit's going. Arizona has looked into a lot of things, and it's not just like, well, there wasn't the right kind of paper, or this dot indicates that, 8,000 of these were printed from the same printer that's at someone's house, or no. There's going to be so many things that were cheating, it's going to be painful. So what we're seeing here in the last 10 weeks, in Arizona, seriously, you can see the number of requests and then they drop off. But in the last 10 weeks, Arizona has checked the voter registration credentials with the Social Security Administration on 673,560 applicants, in case you were counting at home. This is a massive volume considering most states, including Arizona, typically process around 2,500 a month. They've processed more identities in the last 2 months than they've done in the last 9 years combined. Is someone scrubbing a database or auditing federal-only voters? During the new voter registration, states are to verify the driver's license number against their own MVD database. Only in situations where no driver's license can be provided should the state check their identity through the Help America Vote Verification, HAVV, interface provided by the SSA. Right? Can I just throw some more initials at you? The 43 states that participate provide the last 4 digits of the Social Security, the applicant name, and the date of birth. The interface responds if a match was or was not found, if they are deceased, and so on. This entire HAVV Excel dataset can be downloaded if you're really a nerd. Arizona, new voter registration verification with Social Security Administration. So you see during the time periods, total number of transactions are reasonably high, 64,000 over a week period, I guess. 75,000 this week, 76,000 this week, 65. You get the point. So total non-matches, meaning on the last 4 digits of the Social Security and the date of birth and the name, they were not able to match these registrations. Like either A, the people don't exist, B, they could potentially be illegal, 3, the Social Security numbers might just be made up. But for whatever the reason is, they found an insane number of these that don't match, that have a no match. Of the 673,000 total transactions, 393,000 of them, 58%, did not match. Once again, way more than enough votes to give the election back to Trump. No question about it. And these are the patterns that we are for sure to see in other states. And now that we have the blueprint and what to look for, all of a sudden people are scrambling to pull this exact same voter information from these different states and do their own research. And gee whiz, I bet you we find something very similar. So starting in February, both Texas and Kansas were also processing large volumes each week, between 30 and 55,000. This also stopped and went back to normal volumes in June. These are checks on older voting registration applications because this volume far exceeds new voter applications. You see, it seems a lot of people are looking into this stuff. Places that used to process 500 to 600 a week are now processing thousands, tens of thousands, many thousands. So stuff's being looked up. They get into the complexities of Arizona's looking up system. And again, here we see total transactions again by week. And you can see they absolutely drop off in early June. But you can see this huge amount of crap that happened it got picked up in early July and then apparently dropped off recently, or so it seems. So interesting information that's coming out of that nonetheless. We'll see. Biden now faces serious demands for congressional investigation. Hey, you guess who's looking into this now? Democrat Adam Schiff looking into serious demands for what happened in Afghanistan. We've bombed innocent people, 7 of them children. That can't happen. Adam Schiff, Pencil Neck Schiff, just to remind some of the nicknames that might have been around back in the good old days. Well, Pencil Neck apparently is leading this investigation. And, as Schiff said, my prayers today are with the victims and their families. Do you still call it prayers when it's to Satan? I didn't know. Is it still prayers, or do they call it something else? I don't know. I don't know enough about Satanism, but he's using the word. Maybe it's synonymous to, sacrifice or whatever the hell they do. So they're going to go after all this. They're pissed off. And from what it seems like, and there's buried down here, I believe it was, when the CNN and Democratic Party have turned on a Democrat president and his administration, it's pretty much finished. The Biden freefall is unlikely to end anytime soon. And they also point out something to do with Miley. Yeah, this is a total about-face from the Pentagon's initial denial that they got anything wrong days after the attack, Tapper said. He showed video of General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, saying on September 1st this was a righteous strike. No longer so righteous, Tapper remarked. So I think, based off of everything we've heard, the fact that there may be some, maybe a message to all the other TV generals out there that Milley might sort of disappear and maybe go through some tribunals. And if he did, in fact, have the conversation with China, and from what Trump shared with us a few days back, I shared it, where it seems like he hinted that Xi would have told him if there was some back channel thing going on. See, we've heard a lot of stories, and it's hard to validate any of them, but supposedly Xi and Trump, and there's this big cabal takedown happening. And so information had to have gotten back to the military that Milley was, in fact, being treasonous. If so, he will probably serve an example, and it might even be public. So this could be one of the major markers that we've been looking for. Certainly none of the names that we ever thought we would guess, but we've been led astray a little on this path, but because we were supposed to be. Or maybe things change. Hard to say. One of the funniest things I've read in a long time, the look on this person's face is pretty precious, but let me get this straight. The vaccinated need to be protected from the unvaccinated by forcing the unvaccinated to get the vaccine that didn't protect the vaccinated. Yeah, I'll give you a second with that. Makes lots of sense, doesn't it? That's the one you share with your family members. So wait, you need me to get vaccinated to protect you from me, even though you've got the vaccine and you're currently not protected from me. So, What are we doing here? What are we trying to do? Now, I don't know if you've been to the Denver airport. I've been there a couple times, and I had heard stories back when they were building it. There's major stuff going on, and I'm almost 100% sure a lot of it's true. It happened very recently, and a lot of people talked about it. They've got some very crazy pictures, and this one really did stand out. Denver airport mural painted in 1994. Tell me this is not weird. How far do they plan this stuff in advance? 1994 was painted then. You can't tell me this is just happenstance. Every country masked, silenced, all the key ones, and all in line with the Chinese communists as well. And some of these masks I don't recognize as much as I should. But again, interesting. We will not comply. Thousands march against COVID vaccine mandates in New York. You see, places that even have the highest Democrat populations are pretty pissed off right now. Also, people that have very high African-American populations are not happy right now because not just Nicki Minaj, but also because percentage-wise, especially in New York, something like 30% of the African-American population is actually vaccinated because of Tuskegee. Because typically speaking, the black community does not trust the government when it comes to vaccines or injecting things into our bodies. They've, had some bad history, if you will. A bunch of people got syphilis, and they're like, oh, no, we're trying to help you out and give you some sort of positive treatment. I don't remember the exact details. And they got syphilis. Oh, yay. Lucky us. So, a little bit of a lack of trust. So a lot of people marching, protesting. This is a lot of people that are like, no, we are not going to comply. Period. These are the same people that were, 6 months ago were burning down New York. Now they're out there being more positive. Look at that. World's changing. Getting good. Oh, so fantastic. So, a bunch of stuff going on here on this one here. COVID propaganda roundup, the safe and effective narrative implodes. So there's just a lot of very interesting kind of walk through how this whole COVID thing's played out. Just we'll hit the main headlines, if you will, in this particular article. So the whole gaslighting 101, CDC, Merriam-Webster, they quietly changed the definition of vaccine overnight. CDC's old vaccine definition, a product that stimulates a person's immune system to produce immunity, important, to specific disease. So we give you something that creates sort of an immunity to a very specific thing. Well, the new vaccine definition, a preparation that is used to stimulate the body's immune response against diseases. Not even specifically COVID or anything in particular. Very interesting. Likewise, Merriam-Webster's old vaccine definition, preparation of killed microorganisms, living attenuated organisms, or living fully virulent organisms, that word's tough, that is administered to produce or artificially increase immunity to a particular disease now says a preparation that is administered, as by injection only, of course, to stimulate your body's immune response against a specific infectious disease. Again, they've had to change all this information. So mRNA vax efficacy in the U.S. is down to 2/3 and dropping. So 2/3 of people that are actually showing to be have effective responses with it. That's 33%. That's significant. Israel, among one of the most vaccinated nations, now has one of the highest infection rates. Pfizer vax down to 16% efficacy against symptomatic infection in Israel. The Pfizer vax is down to 16% of efficacy. Up here, we're talking it's down to 2/3 and dropping. And that was probably here in the United States. Yeah, and CDC. Different forms of the vaccine, by the way. This is the one that the FDA approved in Israel. Not ours, but Israel's. So, anyway, whatever. So, data published by Israel showing Pfizer vaccine was just 16% effective. Well, then what the frick should I get it for? Oh, it's just a good idea. Why? Japanese regulators discover metal particles in Moderna vaccines. They halt distribution. They're like, F all you, screw you. Respect the science, we always hear. Having SARS-CoV-2 once confers much greater immunity than a vaccine. Yes, please, folks on the left, respect the science. Science is true whether you believe in it or not. This would be their thing to say against us when it comes to pushing the vaccine, but that same science also shows those of us that have had it naturally have a natural immunity. And a natural immune protection that develops after SARS-CoV-2 infection offers considerably more of a shield against the Delta variant. We're hearing all sorts of amazing numbers showing how natural immunity is significantly stronger. Not just that, but it actually gives you immunity both internally. Vaccine gives you internal only. When you've had natural antibodies because you've had the vaccine, you get both internal immunity, and you also get mucosal. We talked about this before. So mucosal immunity has to do with the nose and mouth, mucous membranes. Well, a shot doesn't give you that. That's why so many people that have been vaccinated carry exceptionally high loads in their mouths and nose. They're having abnormal numbers because internally they're not getting sick because of the vaccine, but they're carrying high mucosal loads. Now, isn't it interesting that this is a virus that passes through droplets, spittle, whatever. So the people that are vaccinated have a higher amount in the area that causes the most infection or spread to other people without showing any symptoms. So without a doubt, they're the heaviest asymptomatic spreaders. People that don't have the vaccine and get that much of the virus inside, or at least are capable of spreading, usually are showing symptoms. Otherwise, they wouldn't be exposing others. So the information that's coming out is proving to be very different, of course, than what Fauci is saying. And I think a lot of people are losing faith quickly in the CDC. That's also part of it. Again, vaccinated carry 251 times more viral load than unvaccinated in their nose and mouth specifically. Research imperfect vaccination can enhance the transmission of highly virulent. I really want to be able to say that. I'm going to practice that word. You promise. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll be like, virulent. That's pretty close. What happened to lasting immunity? Yeah, really, seriously, what happened to it? Not going to get that through the shot. We already found that doesn't last very long. And, of course, we've got all sorts of horror stories, people getting vaxxed, getting sick, immediately dying, just blah, blah, blah. It's not good news. We've all heard the stories. Spectator columnist asked if she is allowed to talk about the vaccine side effects. Of course not. And then, funny, they kind of bring this up, the whole Stockholm Syndrome. That's the thing where, like, you have an abuser, to you, and over a period of time, you actually kind of fall in love with them or sort of start to like them in some weird kind of way as you spend too much time with them, and it's called the Stockholm Syndrome. Well, it's kind of what a lot of people are having with Fauci, right? This guy's just destroying us and just torturing us, and we're like, we love you, though. You're the best little man I've ever seen. So half of Warlord's Fauci own the NIH staff won't take the vaccine. Seriously, half of his staff won't take it. So you get the picture, you get the point. Not good for them. Now, Sarah Palin announces that she is unvaccinated because she, like many of us, believes in science. Dr. Drew even backs up her claims. Now, he's just a doctor. I mean, don't listen to him, but we're gonna. Check it out.
Here's my diagnosis, Sarah, or Governor Sarah. It's a combination of bitterness and stupidity has put Lemon on the wrong side of every issue.
Yeah, this is too bad that he's going there, because personally, I like Don Lemon. He's always been really nice to me, so, when somebody's nice to you.
Sarah, he's making both of us shame and attack people we like.
Well,
that's
he
his thing.
though, wants to be one of the cool kids, and that, as, you're suggesting, too. So that narrative. But, I am one of those white, common-sense conservatives. I believe in science, and I have not taken the shot. One, because the waitress never came back to ask me if I was ready for that shot. But two, because I do believe in science, and the Fauci-ism of the day back then was, if you had COVID, I've had COVID, well, then Mother Nature was creating an immunity. And even today they say, you're 27% more immune.
27 times.
Yeah,
27 times.
Huge.
Yeah. So I want to ask the questions. And, if he's going to clobber me for that, well, then I take it back that he wasn't very nice to me.
Yeah, and by the way,
And unfortunately, one of the things that kind of always sort of rang true about Palin a little is that she wasn't necessarily super duper like I don't know. She just didn't strike me as super smart. And again, it's not needed. She's got a beautiful personality. She's a lovely lady. Have nothing but nice things to say about her. But it is funny when he calls her out on how it's not 27% more likely to be fine. It's 27 times, and she's like, "Oh yeah, all right." Like it's like, no, that's huge. That's like 2,700%. That's like 27% is what you said. This is 2,700%. That's significantly more than what you were saying. That's all. Just saying. That's all right. I like the Pales. I like the Palester. So NIH Director Collins, he believes Pfizer booster shots will be expanded despite FDA panel recommendations. You see, they don't even care about the science. Panel's made up of independent people that aren't necessarily towing the Pfizer line. And they don't care. See, this is who's making the decisions right now, folks. It has nothing to do with science. It has to do with a vaccine manufacturer, the owner of the vaccine patent, and who's paying for it. We the people. That's what this whole thing's about. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry that Pfizer is already making a crap ton of money on, as well as Moderna and the others, but Pfizer seems to be in the major driver's seat right now. So we've got 24 state attorney generals issued letter to President Biden threatening lawsuit over his federal vaccine mandates. I thought I'd heard it was a little higher. I thought we hit 26 or something, but whatever. This is just 24 that have actually sent lawsuits already. So that's a pretty strong united front. We'll see what continues to move forward in those directions. Dr. Fauci funded 60 projects at Wuhan Institute of Virology, and all were in conjunction with the Chinese military. See, a lot of information's coming out. And Dr. Monkey Man here, just because he's got big ears and he's short, and I'm making fun of him because I don't like him. Dr. Monkey Man apparently was in bed with the Chinese military doing all sorts of gain-of-function research and who knows what else. I'm sure a lot of stuff they can't talk to. And, hey, FYI, big guy, you realize how many nasty particles are probably on that part of your glasses? Uh-huh. You sick man. I'm totally kidding. I probably have done worse. I've dropped things and had the 5-second rule kick in just to probably gross a bunch of you out. I've done it. Oh, yeah. I got immunity, baby. I can handle some germs. Germs are not a problem in my world. Newsom's office is refusing to say whether California governor is quarantining after 2 of his children test positive for COVID-19. Wait, what? Is he probably going to lie to us? Is he probably not going to do what he makes everybody else do? He's got rules for us, but not for him? Yeah, we've seen him do it countless times. And then he went so far as to cheat on an election that, hands down, he was definitely going to get recalled. It was who won after that was, I don't know, up in the air. It probably would have been elders. They couldn't let that happen. God, no. That would break everything. That'd break everything. He's going to kill you is what they were claiming. So stupid. Is Hillary's attorney, Mark Elias, in legal jeopardy alongside with this whole Michael Sussman? Are we going to be seeing some other people that might be losing their licenses, maybe the board, the bar, maybe jail? Anything's possible. But he's quit Perkins Coie. He's not working there anymore. He is stepping aside. Elias signed agreements with corrupt Wisconsin Republicans like Speaker Robin Voss to allow drop boxes for ballots. This guy's been involved in everything bad under the sun. He apparently meddled in North Carolina before the 2020 election. You see, Perkins Coie was running around doing all sorts of stuff with all the laws in all the states surrounding elections. Interesting. All of this stuff was happening, and Durham's info's coming out, and some other people are making some interesting moves. Maybe being given a chance to do what's right, or something finally got unsealed, indictments maybe, and now all of a sudden he's aware of what's up, and Perkins Coie's like, you got to go, bro. You ain't helping our image at all. So he was sanctioned in Texas for his election actions. Then Elias and Perkins Coie showed up in Arizona after the election in Maricopa County to stop the audit. But surprisingly, Elias left Perkins Coie and started his own entity a month ago. On a Sunday in August, Perkins Coie announced Elias had left the firm. Famed election rights lawyer Mark Elias had departed Perkins Coie to strike out on his own, as the law firm said it would continue advising clients on campaign finance and other political matters, just not with him anymore. So again, Elias and 10 other Perkins Coie partners and 3 counsel left the firm to form a different group. Interesting to see what's these other people, who they've been involved with, And if this whole ship's going down and this was just their way to get enough legal group together to be able to fight this, we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, people are wondering, did he leave because he's in legal jeopardy? Very possible. Very, very possible. Perkins Coie is all over the place for years and years and years, not looking good. Hey, here's something that you probably wouldn't see on any sort of Hallmark cards. Hey, I like to kill babies. I've done it for 45 years. I don't know what they'd be significant to. Like, what are you, happy baby killing day? Like maybe when you get abortions, like you get cards every year or something to remind you, hey, just wanted to send you a reminder of that life you extinguished, that beautiful light that once was on, then it was off before it ever had a chance to shine. Texas abortionist has admitted that he's already broken the state's law. He's admitted it. Now he's doing this because he wants to get it in court, but this is the best part of the whole thing, and we're not going to spend much more time on it. But in his op-ed, Braid explained that he'd been performing abortions for the last 45 years. 45 years of killing babies and going strong. Yeah. Wow, that's something to be proud of, man, really. Something to be proud of. Nice smile. He looks happy. Looks like he maybe does sleep at night. Weirdly. I don't know. Finally, that top-secret meeting in Australia actually led to historic embarrassment for the Biden administration. This just has to do with, I guess, the fact that we've overstepped France. I don't know if it's really embarrassment as much. Obviously, Great Britain doesn't trust us, so that's probably going to come into play. But long story short, the Australians are going to partner with UK and the United States, partner with some submarine technology, how to basically get Australia building their own submarines, which is a brilliant idea considering how far away they are. And they have a lot of water, and submarines are surprisingly effective means of keeping the balance, if you will. And they're really hard to find once they go under, especially if you've got those nuclear ones that can keep traveling for, powering themselves for eons. They sometimes can just park under the water for 6 months at a time, as long as you get enough food and feed all your peoples. So, again, this is what's happening. We're going to see. I think it's been a slow weekend, I should say. I think they were expecting a lot of noise from the false flag yesterday. They didn't get it. So here we are on a reasonably quiet day because I got nothing else stirred up. No hornet's nests to kick as of yet. But we'll see what starts transpiring next week. Again, as we remember, this coming Friday at 1 o'clock, Arizona's supposed to be releasing the audit information. Can't even imagine how exciting it's going to be when they finally do release it. Is it going to be this Friday? I don't know. That's what they're saying. But I'm expecting some sort of false flag thing to happen this week to make a lot of noise, and I think that's the point of the announcement of the audit being precisely at 1 p.m. Something's going to happen right around that time on Friday. Almost willing to bet the farm. Now, maybe it'll be 25th Amendment on Biden. Maybe it'll be Milley truly getting kicked under the bus publicly. Something that's going to raise awareness from some other cause, so they try to take away the thunder from the audit. My guess is the second it happens, there's going to be some weird hiccup in the releasing of the audit information, and they're going to wait a day or two. And again, these guys are burning ammo on the deep state side. They're running out of time for sure. We're going to take this country back. There's no question about that. And I think we're getting really darn close to the breaking event, whatever it is, whether it gets dark for a period of days or whether we, can't pull money out of the ATM for 3 days, but everything else seems to work. I don't know. Not sure how this is going to play out. I think a lot of that depends. But be prepared is all we can continue to say. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. But it seems, and there's a lot of indications to suggest, we are rapidly moving towards an event of some kind. So be frosty, as they say. Stay strong. Keep everybody in your prayers. This is a trying time. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.